In the wake of the deadly terror attack at Kabul airport, Indian security establishment has raised an alarm bell, suggesting the ISIS Khorasan module that claimed responsibility for Kabul airport attack might target India in the near future. Here's a complete report.
The Islamic State, Khorasan province, the terror group behind the deadly bombing at the Kabul airport on Thursday might just be getting started. After its first appearance in eastern Afghanistan in late 2014, the deadly terror outfit has quickly established a reputation for extreme brutality. And latest intelligence inputs suggest that India may be on the terror radar in the near future. Kashmir and Kerala may just be the ISIS focus points. India is not new ground for the Islamic State Khorasan module. In 2017, it came to light that a group of 21 Indians, some of them married couples with young children, left for Afghanistan to join the Islamic State Khorasan module. Since then, it has been on the radar of Indian intelligence agencies. Not just that, the National Investigation Agency is of the view that the Gurudwara attack in Kabul in March 2020 had the Islamic State fingerprints all over it. And that's not the only concern that intelligence agencies have. The caretaker president of Afghanistan, Amrullah Saleh, is convinced that Pakistan has been sponsoring, supporting and nurturing the Islamic State Khorasan module. The Afghanistan Resistance Force leader was quick to draw a parallel between the Islamic State Khorasan module and the Pakistan ISI-backed Haqqani network. For India, what's a cause for bigger concern is the report of the United Nations Security Council that talks of the link between ISIS-K and ISI-backed Haqqani network. This means another front to tackle for India's security forces. With Abhishek Bhalla in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
The Kabul blasts have come as a big challenge to the evacuation operations. The situation now makes it harder for India to bring back the citizens who are still stranded. It's now a race against them to bring them back safely. Take a look.
Over 100 persons, Afghan citizens and US personnel blown to pieces. One of the worst terror attacks, even by Kabul's terrible standards. A national capital drenched in blood. But as desperate crowds return to the perimeter of the Kabul airport, it's a race against time for India. 20 Indian nationals and 140 Afghan Sikhs and Hindus remain marooned in the world's most dangerous city. And the effort to pull them out has just become a hair-raising race against time. India Today has learned that some of the stranded have been trying to make their way into the airport, but stopped and turned back by the Taliban.
हम लोग फ्लाइट के लिए वेट कर रहे थे और अंदर तालिबानों ने जाने नहीं दिया और फायरिंग शुरू कर दी। वहाँ पे उन्होंने हवाई फायरिंग करके सबको भगा दिया। तालिबान ने हवाई फायरिंग की, बहुत सारी बसेस थी। हामिद करजई एयरपोर्ट जो है इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट, उसका मेन गेट उन्होंने टेक ओवर कर लिया और अभी उन्होंने आज रात को 12 बजे अनाउंस किया है कि जो अफगानी नागरिक हैं उनको हम बाहर जाने नहीं देंगे।
The question now is how to pull these stranded citizens out. With the situation rapidly deteriorating following Thursday night's terror attack, the mission has become enormously more delicate, rendering the Indian nationals and the Afghan Sikhs and Hindus totally vulnerable. The 20 Indian nationals are the last of those who reached out to the Indian government for evacuation. But there could be more Indians who are yet to reach out for various reasons. And others who do not wish to return to India despite the terrifying situation in Afghanistan, compelled possibly by work or other circumstances. India has pulled out over 800 people from Afghanistan since August 15th. Like the persons currently stranded, most of these are Indian nationals and members of the Afghan Sikh and Hindu communities. The latest was a batch of 180 persons who were brought to Delhi from Kabul in a military aircraft on Thursday. India has several aircraft, both civil and military, ready to swoop in and pull out stranded nationals. But the government has assured the country that all efforts are being made.
We have brought back most of the Indians, but not all of them. There are still a few out there. Definitely we will try and bring out everybody. We have also brought out some Afghan citizens who wanted to come to India at this point of time.
The worsening situation outside Kabul airport has made air evacuations potentially deadly. Just hours before Thursday night's terror attack, a departing Italian aircraft with evacuees drew dangerous ground fire from an unknown source. With August 31st just 2 days away and the situation promising to worsen further, all eyes are now on India's final push for the pullout. With Geeta Mohan in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Maulana Masood Azhar has sought help from Taliban for spreading terror in the Kashmir Valley. Azhar was in Kandahar in the third week of August to meet the co-founder of the Taliban, Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar. Here's more.
Masood Azhar, a UN-designated global terrorist, founder of terrorist organization Jaish-e-Mohammed, accused in a series of terror attacks in India, from Parliament to Pathankot and Pulwama, is learned to have secretly dashed to Kandahar to meet Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar and seek assistance for waging war against India in Jammu and Kashmir. This UN-designated global terrorist was released in Kandahar after the hijack of Indian Airlines aircraft IC-814 in December 1999. His ties with Taliban, facilitated by Pakistan's ISI, date back decades. The Taliban gave him a safe passage to Pakistan after he was released in 1999 in exchange for passengers of IC-814. He escaped to Pakistan and set up the radical Islamist terrorist organization Jaish-e-Mohammed. The Maulana of terror is learned to have returned to Kandahar once again, seeking Taliban's help.
Obviously, he has read the situation in Afghanistan and realized that there's going to be intense competition among the terrorist groups themselves. Not to forget the terrorist groups of Pakistan, the Lashkar-e-Taiba itself and the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. He is the one who has made the first move. He felt the necessity of it because he knew that this is the time when his initiative is required. He must do an outreach. He must get hold of those weapons. He must get hold of whatever fighters are possible. And this is the time when all the attention of the world is drawn here. This is the time to do something in Jammu and Kashmir.
Taliban now is in control of surplus weapons, equipment and systems, apart from 5,000 fighters of Al-Qaeda, Taliban, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan and Jaish-e-Mohammed released from different prisons across Afghanistan as the Taliban advanced to Kabul. According to reports from Kabul, Taliban is now in control of US weapons and systems worth billions of dollars, including assault rifles, night vision devices, bulletproof jackets and helmets, secure communication equipment, armored fighting vehicles, light attack aircraft, attack and transport helicopters, amongst others. Maulana Masood Azhar is seeking weapons and equipment and trained fighters for terror strikes in Jammu and Kashmir.
My sources from POK tell me it's been organized a big reception for the fighters coming back from Afghan jails. List of fighters have been made, and yes, they are looking for for new people, new fighters, new weapons.
Both the Taliban and the Jaish-e-Mohammed are handled by Pakistan's ISI. But the effort of terrorists, including Masood Azhar and his brother Rauf, is to mobilize men and material from the Durand Line dividing Afghanistan and Pakistan to the line of control. Bureau Report, India Today.
At least 13 U.S. soldiers were among scores of people killed in 2 attacks at Kabul's airport. U.S. President Joe Biden has vowed to hunt the perpetrators down and retaliate against terrorists who killed the U.S. soldiers. But how is the U.S. going to retaliate? What are the options in front of the U.S.? Our next report tells you more about it.
One of the worst terror attacks on US service personnel in Afghanistan. 13 US soldiers killed and 15 injured. The overall death toll, including Afghan nationals and Taliban fighters, crossed 100. Islamic State's Khorasan module claimed responsibility for the strike, and the US President Joe Biden has sworn to strike back.
To those who carried out this attack, as well as anyone who wishes America harm, know this: we will not forgive. We will not forget. We will hunt you down and make you pay.
As US forces pull out of Afghanistan after 20 years, American options remain restricted to mounting either intelligence-based operations or bombing of ISIL bases in the Nangarhar region of Afghanistan. The US has repeatedly targeted the Islamic State in Afghanistan in an attempt to degrade their ability to target US and Western interests in Afghanistan. In April 2017, the United States dropped one of the biggest conventional bombs, weighing a massive 9,797 kilograms or 21,600 pounds of explosives in the Nangarhar province of Afghanistan. The US claimed that the top leadership of the Islamic State in the area was killed in the massive ordnance air blast bomb.
Daesh has sent suicide bombers to attack peaceful demonstrations and have killed and wounded hundreds of innocent civilians. They have sent suicide bombers into mosques and murdered people during their prayer.
In April 2017, the US forces had taken out Abdul Rahman, the Islamic State Emir of the Kunar province. The US had then claimed that 3 other top Islamic State commanders were also neutralized. Following up on the operations, the United States also carried out an intelligence-based operation and neutralized Abu Saeed in another strike in the Kunar province in July 2017. This again was based on specific intelligence inputs that were reportedly provided by a local rival Taliban commander.
The threat from ISIS is extremely real. We've been talking about this for several days. We saw it actually manifest itself here in the last few hours with an actual attack. We believe it is their desire to continue those attacks, and we expect those attacks to continue. And we're doing everything we can to be prepared for those attacks.
Islamic State terrorists are seen as even more radical than the Taliban, seeking the establishment of a caliphate across the region. They have operated in tandem with the Haqqani network, a part of Afghan Taliban, seen as extremely close to Pakistan's ISI. Bureau Report, India Today.
This is big breaking news coming in. The United States military has struck back at the Islamic State bombing an IS member in Afghanistan. The airstrike comes in retaliation of a devastating suicide bombing claimed by the group that killed as many as 169 Afghan locals and 13 American service members at the Kabul airport on Thursday. The US strikes back at this point of time. The United States military striking back at the ISIS bombing an ISIS member in Afghanistan. This is a retaliatory bombing that is taking place by the United States amidst and after you saw the blast take place last Thursday in Afghanistan, taking the life away of 169 Afghanistan locals and 13 American service members. Shut from March last year due to pandemic, schools in the national capital are all set to open in a phased fashion. Delhi government has decided reopening of class 9 to 12 from 1st September. Classes 6 to 8 are going to reopen from 8th. Here's our report.
After nearly 18 months of studying at home with a computer screen, Delhi kids will finally be able to go to school. The steady dip in cases and increasing vaccinations has given confidence to the Delhi government to take a major step on a highly debated issue. On Friday, the Delhi government announced the reopening of schools for classes 9th to 12th, colleges and coaching institutions from the 1st of September.
1 सितंबर से दिल्ली में 9वीं से 12वीं के स्कूल और उस एज ग्रुप के बच्चों की कोचिंग या उससे बड़े बच्चों की कोचिंग सेंटर्स और साथ साथ सभी कॉलेजेस खोलने के लिए इजाज़त दे दी जाएगी.
Since several parents are still worried about sending children to school, Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia said that the attendance won't be mandatory.
बच्चों को स्कूल बुलाने के लिए पेरेंट्स की परमिशन ज़रूरी होगी और अगर पेरेंट्स की परमिशन नहीं है तो किसी बच्चे को फोर्स नहीं किया जाएगा या उसको उसके एवज में उसकी एब्सेंट काउंट नहीं किया जाएगा कि कोई बच्चा अगर स्कूल नहीं आया है इस क्लास ग्रुप का.
9वीं से लेकर 12वीं तक के लिए ऑफलाइन क्लासेस की व्यवस्था शुरू की जा रही है. हमारे साथ कुछ अभिभावक हैं, पेरेंट्स हैं. आपकी क्या राय है आज जो सरकार ने डिसीजन लिया है उस पर?
ऑनलाइन तो कर ही रहे हैं पर ऑफलाइन पढ़ेंगे तो ज़्यादा अच्छा रहेगा. स्कूल नहीं खुलना चाहिए क्योंकि स्कूल खुलने से कोई रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं है जी. बच्चों की क्या रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि बच्चा वैक्सीनेशन लड़ रहा है या नहीं लड़ रहा है, ट्वेन कोविड है या नहीं है, तो उससे बच्चे कैसे बचेंगे.
The Delhi government's move came in for resistance.
सरकार द्वारा स्कूलों को खोलने का जो आज निर्णय लिया गया है, हम आज भी उस निर्णय के खिलाफ हैं क्योंकि जहां पे नीति आयोग ने पहले ही बोल दिया 3 से 4 लाख केसेस आएंगे, सितंबर माह से शुरू हो जाएंगे और जहां पे 25% जो लोगों को हॉस्पिटल की जरूरत पड़ेगी, तो ऐसे समय में जब एक चेतावनी जारी हो चुकी है, ऐसे समय में स्कूलों को खेलना बच्चों की जिंदगी के साथ खेलने के बराबर है.
It also evoked a mixed reaction from students.
We have not went to school from around last 2 years. So I want to go to school.
And I think school should not open right now because vaccines are also not out for students, for kids below 18. The cases in India are also rising.
The concerns from parents and some students could be valid given that a third wave of COVID could be coming. But Delhi government's decision comes in the wake of several states already opening schools since online classes were depriving underprivileged children of equal opportunity. With Amit Bharadwaj in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.